everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk, and thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. I thought it would be a nice card for a baby shower. You see what I did there? Yeah, got a baby with an umbrella, baby shower. Yeah, get it? Okay then, please yourselves. It's a card with a little bit of a surprise, because if I take the peg away and then I just let go of the card, it pops into a box. Now this style of card is called a popping box card, and I first saw it done by a man called Robert Adams on, actually it was on Create and Craft Television. So if you want to look Rob up, it's Robert Adams with 2 Ds, and he's got a lot of ideas for this kind of box on his website. But for now, I thought I would show you how I made one with Stampin' Up supplies. Now, I'll be quite honest with you, it's not the easiest card in the world to make, but if you follow it step by step, I think you'll find that it is quite doable. So stay with me and we'll work our way through it. Here's what I'm going to be using to make this project. I've got 2 pieces of Peekaboo Peach card, which are 7.5 by 5.5 inches. And I've got 2 smaller pieces of Peekaboo Peach. This one is 4.5 by 2 3/4, and this little one here is 2 inches square. I've got a piece of Smoky Slate, which is 4 3/4 of an inch by around 7 inches. 4 squares of Smoky Slate paper from our neutral stack, and these are 3 1/4 inches square. And I've got another 4 pieces from the same colour, which they are 1.5 inches by 3 1/4 inches. That's right, sorry, they're 1 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/4. This is a piece of Peekaboo Peach paper from the this is from the In Colour stack, and I've cut the letters B-A-B-Y to spell baby. We're using the large letters, couldn't think of the word for a minute, and Smoky Slate. I've got a scrap of shimmering white paper, which I'm going to be stamping on, and I'm going to be stamping with the Moon Baby stamps and using basic grey ink. I'm also going to be using my Stampin' Write markers in Smoky Slate and Peekaboo Peach, and I've got a blender pen there as well. I'm going to use my watercolour pencils, and I'm going to use my star framelets dies, and I'm also going to be using an elastic band. Here's my piece of Peekaboo Peach, and I've got it with the long side towards the top of the scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 3 1/2 inches and at 7 inches. And I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to score at 3 1/2 inches. Okay, now the other piece is exactly the same, and I've already done that one. So this is the piece of Peekaboo Peach that is 4 1/2 inches. So I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch, then at 2 inches, and at 4 inches. And here's the 2 inch square, and I'm just going to score that at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1 1/2 inches. I've burnished all my folds, so now I'm going to do some snipping. So I don't need this skinny piece here, so I'm just going to cut that away. And I'm also going to take a little bit out of this flap here. And I'm going to cut down as far as the where the folds cross on this piece. Now I've got my corner rounder, and I'm going to round off the edges of these flaps. Just like that. Now I'm going to put my DSP onto the panels of my box. Carefully. these panels on as well. And I'm just using some snail. And I've already done the other half of the box, so if I bring that back in, you can see how it's all going to go together just like that. So now I'm going to join the two parts of the box together, and for this I am going to use liquid adhesive. Bring those two pieces together, and I am going to hold them in place because I don't want them doing what they just did there and coming apart. So I'm going to hold that in place with a little clothes peg, a mini clothes peg. Now these are little mini pegs that we used to stock in Stampin' Up, but we retired them. They retired, so I had a few left, and I've kept them. But you know what? A paper clip or a full-size clothes peg would do just as well. So I just want to make sure that that all sits flat, and I can leave that on one side to for the glue to dry while I go and do stamping. Now I've done quite a bit of preparation ahead of time. One, to save time in the video, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very long video, and two, to give the outline ink, which is basic grey archival, time to dry up on these stamps. But I do want to stamp this little baby onto this star, which I've cut out of the DSP. And which way do I want those dots going? Is there one way that's better than another? I think that looks pretty good. And this is the second to largest of the star framelets that I've used here. And in fact, I've got the baby mounted up on this block. It isn't even quite big enough for it, because the only thing that I'm really interested in here is this part here, because that is going to be a divil to cut out, and I don't really want to have to do it. So you will see how it all comes together at the end, I hope. Okay, so I've stamped my little baby onto my star, and he's hanging there quite nicely, so he can sit out of the way while I bring my other pieces in, and I can do some colouring. I'm going to colour the baby's face and skin using the watercolour pencils, and I'm going to start with a little bit of Calypso Coral just for his little rosy cheeks here. Okay, and just a little bit of Pumpkin Pie, very, very lightly, for his skin and on his hands. I'm saying he, it could be a little girl, of course it could. And some nice golden curls, I think. Nice and soft. Okay, it's got my blender pen, and I'm just going to blend all of those colours together. Okay. Now for the umbrella, I've got my Peekaboo Peach. Again, picking up the blender pen, and I'm wiping it on the back of my hand. Really, I should use a scrap of paper just to make sure that it's clean, and I'm just blending those colours out. Now, they're not blending as well as I'd like because they've dried a bit quick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scribble some of that ink onto my clear block here, and I'm just going to pick that up with my blender pen. So the baby's coloured in. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to do some fussy cutting. Set that one aside. I'm going to do 3 more of these, and then I'm going to go and do some fussy cutting. So here we go. I've coloured in and fussy cut these pieces out, so now I'm going to stick them on to the flaps of the box. And I've done them in alternating colourways, so on 2 of them the bunny in the middle is Peekaboo Peach, and on 2 of them the bunny is grey. And I'm going to alternate them. Here's my piece of smoky slate, and I've got it on the cutting plate of my Big Shot at the moment. And I've made a mark about 3 inches up from the bottom, and I'm just placing the star die where I want it to go. And if I can just start the end of the tape here, here we go. I'm just going to tape that in place. I don't want it moving around. Okay, and this is low tack tape, and I'm going to put my top plate in line with those 2 little marks that I made at about 3 inches up from the bottom. So I'm going to run this through the Big Shot like this, and what is going to happen is the Big Shot will put pressure on this part of it, so it will cut, but it won't put any pressure on this part of it, so that it will stay in, it'll stay on the paper. So what I'm doing is making a part cut. And I'm going to go and do that, and I will be right back. So here it is. So that piece has cut away and has left this part of the star still in the card. And if I get my snips, there they are, and I just chop from there to there, and from there to there. Release that. That's left my star very nicely into my card. Here's my bit of DSP that I stamped earlier on. So I'm just going to put some glue onto the back of that, and I'm going to pop that down and layer that on top of that star that's there. And I'm going to take the letters that I cut. Where are they? Here they are. And I'm going to arrange these onto my star also. Just like that. So I'm just going to put some little bits of adhesive here and there, not too much, just enough. and I'll bring back the baby that I fussy cut. Just line my little baby up with the pre-stamped bit. And there you go. These two pieces of card are going to hold the elastic in place. And I've already done the smaller one, so now I'm going to show you how it's done on the larger one. And I've made two little marks on the card here. I've made one that is 1 inch up from this edge of the card, and one that is 1 1/4 inch. And I'm going to start with the one that is 1 inch up from the bottom of the card, and I've got a handheld punch, and I'm just going to punch a little hole about 1/4 inch in from the fold, like that. Okay, now from the edge with where I've made the 1 1/4 inch mark, I'm going to just snip. So now I'm just going to snip from the mark I made at 1 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to snip down to that hole. Okay, and that is what the elastic band will fit through all in the time. See? So it's going to go in there just like that. Okay. Before I do that, first of all, I'm going to apply some glue along these edges, and I'm going to make sure I keep it well away from the slit that I just made, and I'm just going to press that together. And same thing on this one. I'm just going to put some adhesive at the top and the bottom, just to make everything stick together and hold together nicely. So I'm going to let that have a few minutes to dry. Right, the glue has had time to dry. I've put the smaller piece into the box already, so now I'm going to put the larger piece in. And again, I'm going to use a wet glue, because there is going to be quite a bit of force on these little bits of card, and I want to make sure that they are that they stay where I want them to. Okay, so I want this piece, this arrow piece here, I want it pointing towards the top of the box, so this is the right way up. I don't want it that way around. Okay, I want it that way up, and I'm just going to bring it in to the corner here, and I'm going to glue it well in, about a couple of millimeters from the very bottom of the card. Now push that in and make sure that that is well in place, and now I'm going to leave that a little while to dry. I've left this a nice long time for the glue to dry, so now I'm going to put my elastic band in place. Now this is a number 16 elastic band, if you're interested, and I've done a little bit of experimentation, and I have found that it is just a little bit too slack for the mechanism to work properly. So I've just hooked the band into the smaller piece there, and I'm just going to give it a couple of twists. And I think that should be enough. Maybe one more for luck, just so that when the box is closed, it's nice and taut but not too tight. And now I'm going to slip the elastic band into that piece there, just like that. Okay, so now is the moment of truth. I fold it closed. You ready? And that works just the way I want it to. Now I'm going to bring in my my decorative panel, and at this point you might want to adjust the depth of it and I think I want to trim that down a little bit, so I'm going to bring in my stamping trimmer, and I'm just going to take 1/2 inch off the bottom of this panel. Just like that. Okay. Now I've got my box set up with my wider panel over to my left, and I'm going to put some glue just into this corner of the panel. I'm going to slide it into the box, and I'm going to make sure that I stay clear of the elastic. Okay, so I'm just pushing that into place where I want it to be when the box opens. Okay. And now I just need to leave that to dry, and my box is done. And there it is, all finished, and it folds flat to go into an envelope. I think I would probably put a paper clip or something similar to hold it in place, to stop it getting a bit too frisky while it's in the envelope. You are going to need quite a large envelope to fit this into. It's probably going to, you probably won't even fit in an A5, you're probably going to need an A4, or you can just deliver it by hand. And if you want to leave a message, you've got space on the inside panels, or indeed on the star at the back. So that's it for today. I do thank you very, very much for joining me, and if you've enjoyed this project, then please do comment, like, share and subscribe. If you want to show me what you've been up to, then hop on over to my Facebook page and leave me a picture, because I'd really like to see it. But for now, I want to say thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that I will see you again soon. Bye bye.